There's a lot of series that I have not read, and most of them might shock you. Stick around to see what series are my priorities. Hello, future me, jumping in really quick with an honorable mention because I would be remiss not to mention this series. There is a big read along starting in January that a lot of booktubers I love are doing, and I did say January because that is The Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wirtz. This is another series that's been starting to pick up steam recently. A lot of great things have been said about it. I will be reading her standalone To Ride Hell's Chasm first, and that is kind of a spoiler into my priority standalones because that will be one of the books on there. So, Wars of Light and Shadow really should be on my list because if I'm a betting man, I'm reading the standalone to see how well I like Jenny Ward's writing. And if I'm a betting man, if I were a betting man, I would bet that I'm going to love it, and I will probably start picking up the series along with everybody else. And that means it really should be on my top 10 list. I am very surprised about this oversight, but it's an honorable mention right now. And don't worry, Janny, you will be in the top 10 for standalones because I will be reading that in December is my plan, hopefully. Yeah, but let's get on to the top 10. Hello, NA Summer here. Welcome to my channel. This is my top 10 priority series to read, and let's just hop right into it. First series on the list will be, I'm starting with books that I currently own, and that is A Song of Ice and Fire. I have read book 1, and I liked it a lot. So I am very excited to continue with this one. I've watched the show as it was airing since like season 3 or 4. And yeah, I really liked the show. Unfortunately, the last couple seasons weren't the best, but overall the show was very good. And I have really wanted to read the books for a while now. And of course, there's a bunch of booktubers out there that really love the series, and I would be remiss not to mention Jimmy Nuts over at the Fantasy Network. He has waxed a lot about a Game of Thrones, and if you ever want any Game of Thrones content, go over to his channel, check him out. He's definitely talked a lot about Game of Thrones, you'll find out. And recently Bookborn just read the series and loved them. It was really cool to watch her journey because she went from saying that she would never read the books to now it's one of her favorite series, and that was just an awesome journey to watch. And now I'm excited to be on my own journey. I really loved the first book, as I said, and I am super excited to continue. Let's go to the next series. So, the next series on my list is the Greenbone Saga. This is one of those series that whenever I first started watching BookTube, like back in 2019, there's a lot of people that really liked the series, like Daniel Green and Murphy Napier. And did she enjoy it? Maybe. there's a lot of booktubers out there that really like this series, and I have been very interested with it ever since I heard it's like the Godfather with magic. That's just something unique and novel, and I am very excited to check it out. And I've heard very great things, and I am definitely looking forward to jumping into this, which will be rather soon since I actually have the books. My brother got me them for my birthday, which was just a few weeks ago. And yeah, I'll be getting to that sometime soon. Let's get to the next series. So the next series on my list is The Age of Uprising. It starts with Engines of Empire, and this is a series that I saw Elliot Brooks talking a lot about. She was super excited about it, and she, if I am remembering correctly, she made a comparison of Game of Thrones and Final Fantasy, which really piques my interest because I am a big Final Fantasy fan and Game of Thrones, obviously. And yeah, that combination also sounds a little unique for fantasy reads, and I definitely am looking forward to jumping into this one at some point. Let me know, have you read The Age of Uprising? What is your thoughts? This one's a little bit more under the radar than some of the others on this list, and I would be excited to talk about this one with some of you. All right, let's just go ahead and jump into the next one. So next on my list is the Adan trilogy, starting with The Way of Adan. Of course, Philip over there at the Best of Fantasy has his own trilogy out now, and so many people have said so many great things about this one, comparing it to Lord of the Rings, of course, and yet again, a little bit Games of Thrones-ish. I am very excited to check this series out, and hopefully it won't be too long from now. But yes, if you have read the Adan trilogy, what do you think? Is this something on your radar? Are you going to check it out? Let me know in the comments. Let's get to the next series. So the next series on my list is The First Law. Yep, that's right. I have not read The First Law, which starts with The Blade Itself, I believe, by Joe Abercrombie. I have not read anything from him, and from what I hear, it's characters first, and he's really funny, and it's really grim, and that just sounds like a good recipe to me. I love characters. They are definitely a favorite for me when it comes to reading. If you have good characters, that will drag me in, and I hear Joe's got the best of them. So I definitely want to check out The First Law. And how badly am I missing out by not having read it yet? Let me know in the comments. Let's get to the next series. Next series on my list is the Dandelion Dynasty. There's been a lot of positivity going around with this series lately as well. So many booktubers out there are enjoying it. I know Patrick Leo's a big fan, and pretty sure he's rated all the books very highly, and so many others out there have been really enjoying it, and I definitely want to get my hands on this one. It's another interesting sounding one, being a little bit more technologically advanced than a lot of other fantasy, and I am definitely looking forward to some of that uniqueness. Yeah, a little bit more variety in fantasy can go a long way, and I am definitely looking forward to this one. Let's get to the next series. Now, series number 7 on my list, I think might be the first one on my list that's not completed besides A Song of Ice and Fire, and that is The Sun Eater. Oh my goodness, so many people are talking very highly about this one, and pretty sure he's writing the last book now, right? Yeah, maybe. But Christopher Rocchio, I've watched a lot of him talking with other YouTubers and in interviews and everything, and I really like hearing what he has to say. And a lot of people are really hyping his books and being a little bit more sci fantasy, maybe more sci-fi, is a first on this list. But I'm not against going into the sci-fi route at all. I have played a lot of sci-fi video games and stuff, and it is a genre that I am quite happy with, but I have not read a lot for some reason. So I'd like to get some of that under my belt as well. What do you think of The Sun Eater? What other sci-fi series do you love, and what should I read? Let me know in the comments. Let's get to the next series. So, the 8th series on my list is the Farseer trilogy, the Realm of the Elderlings series. I am definitely excited to check this one out. There are so many people that say so many great things about this series, and lately John from Talking Story has been really digging it, giving 5 stars to each book he's read so far, and pushing things off his TBR, or pushing things back on his TBR to push Robin Hobbs up. And seeing that excitement for these books has definitely made me want to check them out even more. And the Farseer trilogy is what I will start with, and I'm pretty sure I'll end up liking it enough to continue on with the whole Realm of the Elderlings. But that's a lot of books. We'll get there eventually. How badly am I missing out by not getting there sooner? Let me know in the comments. Let's get to the next series. So series number 9 on my list is Malazan, Book of the Fallen. This is a series I have been wanting to read for a while now, watching a lot of BookTube and everything. I've watched A Critical Dragon and Philip talking about this series a lot. I've watched a lot of Steven Erikson talking with both of them, and I love all the things he has to say about writing and everything. And this series sounds super interesting to me. It is a 10-book series, so it's one of the longer ones as well. And people say it is difficult. There's a lot of locations and characters you meet and go to, and a lot to pick up, and they throw you in the deep end and throw magic at you, and you don't know what's going on, and I am here for it. I want to be thrown into this world. I want the magic coming at me, and I want to experience this series. So, Malazan, Book of the Fallen, it's up there on my list for sure. One of the highest priorities. I've been numbering these, but it's not the number of highest priority or anything. This is definitely one of the highest. I've been excited for this ever since I've been hearing Steven Erikson talk and everybody else talk about the series. It seems awesome, and I'm looking forward to starting it. Let's get to my last series on the list. So, lastly on this list of my priority reads is The Lord of the Rings. I have never read The Lord of the Rings. I haven't read The Hobbit. I've watched the movies. I love the movies. But I've never read the books. I know. I'm a fantasy reader, fantasy writer. I've never read them, but I plan to. I will eventually. I would love to see how these books play out compared to the movies. The movies are awesome. I'm sure the books are also awesome, and Tolkien's world building is super awesome. He spent a lot of time on it, so it should be, but he did a really good job with it either way. And fantasy has a lot to owe Tolkien for, and I need to check out this series. So that's it. That is my top 10 priority series to read. What is not on my list that you think should be? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this list. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in the next one.